getting started here with week 3 of Xform, and I really don't expect a lot of physical change just because I haven't changed a whole lot yet. Like I said, it's one of those things I'm going to take a little bit slow. We're going to see it happen over time, 12 to 14 weeks ish. And actually this first couple weeks is probably a great reflection of when people say, hey, I'm not getting any results. And a lot of people let's say maybe expect too much for doing too little. Let's just say that. It's one of the reasons why I'll integrate all these different advantages as we kind of keep going through the weeks and how important they are. And when they start, let's say, adding up together and working together, how it really helps drive results. I will say that even though I'm going into week 3 and I don't look any different, say maybe pictures, waist, and I'm assuming those are going to be pretty much the same, I will say my gym performance is going to keep getting better, and that's going to be helpful too. After training yesterday, I noticed I was actually able to finish a workout. I wasn't just halfway trained through, I trained hard and I pushed as hard as I could. Now it's not as good as it was 3 months ago, but it's still, in my book, for where I'm at right now, I think it's great, and it's just going to keep building up. So that's what's most important. Say in the beginning of this is building the foundation. A lot of people want to make all those changes, and even though you may think that I'm not doing the smartest thing by taking this slow, we're going to see if that pans out over time. And I can't even say I've done this exact process before, but I will say that already mentally and spiritually I'm in a lot better, let's say, shape than I was than my whole life, just because I'm focusing on it more. I'm actually doing different habits in those, and I'll talk about that in a completely different series. But this is most specific to new behaviors that I'm trying to bring in and change. On about the 30 days without, calorie tracking and the watch, this is going to come back to my advantage, is using my, Fitbit tracker to keeping track of my exercise, keeping track of my steps and my movement. And that combined with, my calories in, which is the Fitness Pal, that's really going to help me be successful. It's going to help me see the difference. It's going to help me actually put a metric on it. And that's what's most important, I would say, when it comes to body composition, is to make sure you have some sort of metric or some sort of way you can actually track the results and the progress. And that's another thing about waist scale and pictures. It's one of the reasons I like, because you can see the change over time. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy Coach here, and I am out on vacation. And so with that comes a number of topics and a lot of the things I've been going through and the changes I'm making. So I figure I'll take you along with my walk today, out here in nature, enjoying some snow, a little bit of the winter, environment up here in Colorado. So vacations can be great for mental wellness and, let's say, just resetting the mind, getting away from the stresses. This has also been a stress reducer for me, just to get away kind of out of, the things going on and the busyness of all that we have to do, And oddly enough, our little Airbnb doesn't have any internet. It's down. There's a bunch of things that are, let's say, people would say, oh, this sucks, but we use that time to play board games as a family and have fun, do other things than watching TV and movies. So that was really good for, let's say, memories and things we'll use in a positive way rather than focus on what we don't have. We're looking at the things that we do and the different ways that we can enjoy each other together. So, and as for my daily walk, was I able to get in every day? Not necessarily. So we had a very busy day yesterday, a lot of things we wanted to do as a family. So no, I couldn't get my walk in, but that's fine. Could I make it up today and go longer? Sure, but I'm not going to do that. This is vacation. We have other things to do. As a matter of fact, I'm breaking up my walk just a few different times today to where I'm not gone so long and can enjoy that time elsewhere. And like I said, it's not really about being that big weight loss, getting that big change right away. So when you're, doing the psychology of this game or trying to change habits or, things that you prioritize, it becomes a choice, right? There's a decision matrix you have to go through. What's more important? Is it that I get this 3 mile in? Not necessarily, and especially in this case, it's gonna hurt relationships. It's gonna hurt the experience and memories. So I'm just trying to make it work a little bit. I'm breaking it up, right? So that's one of the things you can do, is just say, hey, take a little bit here, have a trade-off there, and it can still work. I don't really expect any weight difference, but one of the big things for me right now is my stress is a lot lower. I just finished school up, my semester, got my finals done, and then I'm trying to really work on and focus, my extra time on relationships, family time, trying to get this content done. There's a lot of other things that I'm able to do, and so less stress is going to be better for well-being, and I believe that. And there's a lot of times it's hard to kind of say, unwind from stress or reduce it. And there's a lot of tactics out there you can research. But for me, one of the first things was, like I said, school and homework. That was a big one. So now that that's gone, I can focus in other areas and put more of my attention and time into that. Is when I actually, week 3 of Xform is when I am going to get a little more serious on the weight loss process, because I'll be bringing in calories out. And I find that calories in and calories out kind of work together. You can do just calories in, and that's a way I've done it, and it's effective. But I don't get to eat as much. And so I generally need to be aware of how much activity I'm putting in, not necessarily how many calories I'm burning, but let's say just really keeping accountability of that movement. Maybe it's NEAT, maybe it's steps, maybe it's going to the gym. Calories out for me is really important in this long journey, because calories in can get me, say, short term. I can just stay in a deficit for about 8 to 10 weeks, not active, but generally it works better when you have both. And now let's say calories out has something else too that I really like, and that's, heart health through the cardio, building muscle, the training. Muscle's good for longevity. Let's say feeling a little better, burning a little more calories. Just better old, say, mental wellness is once you start seeing your body reshape and change, that's something that's really effective in terms of keeping you going. It's motivation, and everybody wants that change right away. But if you just take the pictures every week and you do them over time, you're going to see that there is change, and we don't see it just looking at ourselves in the mirror day to day. And that's why it is important to say, track your progress. Weigh, scale, and pictures is what I always say. So that's going to be one when I look back, in a couple months from now, I'm going to say, wow, I forgot I was there and I didn't see it in the process. Like I said, it's a journey. We got a ways to go. And people say, oh, 2 weeks, you haven't got any physical results, so it must not be effective. And the mental and spiritual side are getting put exactly where they need to be to keep this a long-term trip, a long journey, things that I can keep in place. I'm building the foundation before I'm really starting. If you see me, say, in early January without any change, you'd probably think that person's not even trying this year. They haven't changed anything. And in fact, I've changed a lot. This journey for me began 6 weeks ago. And because it's a little bit delayed, I might look a little different compared to when these release, but I'm not gonna have the drastic change. It's gonna be a little more subtle. That's what's gonna make this most interesting, is not so much the journey at the time, but when I finish this. Not even just, say, Xform, but it's gonna be this entire, say, series. When the Xform comes out, what do the final pictures look like? And then people are gonna go, whoa, what happened? How did you get there? I didn't even see it happen. And it's because, like I said, I prioritize the mental and the spiritual side before getting aggressive on the physical side. I honestly prefer to be outside walking, but today I decided I'm going to use the treadmill, something I normally dread. It is a cold day, Arctic blast of wind. It is way too cold outside. Good news is there's a gym really close for my lunch hour that I'm gonna go ahead and hit and get this walk in, get this 3 miles. And then that way, I get it done for the day. And then I also have a workout I gotta get in later for building a little more muscles. So that's kind of what's most important, is I'm making it happen, especially in habit change. This is one of those mental barriers. It's making the decision to go or not each week and each day, and how important it is to, say, evaluate that. Is it a decision? Now, if I was injured, say right now, and I couldn't walk, then I would probably say, no, today's a day of rest. But I know I'm physically capable of doing it. Mentally, I'm capable of doing it. It's just the elements that are in my way of the outside, right? In the weather. That's kind of the strategy here, is just kind of being prepared, planning ahead, and just kind of setting myself up for success, I could call it. These meals are from my freezer, and this is something where I didn't have to cook. Right here to start is a breakfast burrito. It's probably 300 to 350 calories from what I remember. It's just a rando of just like random noodles I had. I was just making the rest. Got some shredded chicken at the bottom, and this one's closer to 550 calories, a lot more carbs. Actually, I think there's a marinara sauce in there somewhere, but you can tell this stuff is frozen. Here, this is a shrimp pasta dish. This is a hot dog chili. It's probably hard to see. And I'll use this with some chips probably, just to give it that nacho feel. And this is one of those ones, it doesn't look very pretty, but it's a hamburger bun, sort of peanut butter and jelly sort of thing. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I have 5 meals, total grams of protein. Each one's at least 30. So this is for sure at least 150 grams of protein, which is more than enough for a day of food. I'm probably gonna add in just a few more meals, the flexible meals. Because this week, I'm trying to keep my calories about 4,000 a day. Do that for, this whole week, and just see what happens to my weight, my physique, and my waist. for week 3. And if I don't lose any more weight this week based on the activities and everything I'm doing, then I know, hey, you know, that my body just can't take that many calories right now. It's always just kind of a test for me to see, you know, what can my body handle at 195 pounds and actually going to bed after I eat my food and drink fluids throughout the day. I'm going to bed at close to 200. When I'm trying to lose weight, I'll be more aggressive, but for right now is not the time. This is early in the game for me. Even at say 180 to 185 pounds, and if I'm very active, I can eat like this and flexible and still stay the same weight. Anyway, that's it. I gotta put this stuff back away, and then I'll be eating it tomorrow and tracking it. Looking forward to see how FitnessPal does and how I associate that habit now, and just see where we go in the next few months. We are here at Choose, and this is a dance class, stretch class. She does all kinds of different things for activities. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to film, say, the class we did here, but she's a fantastic instructor.
My name is Victoria Rodriguez. I've been teaching group fitness for about 8 years, maybe a little bit more than that. Mainly I teach cardio dance. I also teach bar, and recently I've just started teaching a stretching, kind of stretch recovery class. Like, I've never been a gym person where I don't like treadmills. I've never really been into like lifting weights and stuff, but I've always been a really big fan of dancing. Danced when I was young. My parents put me in like ballet and all kinds of stuff, and then throughout high school I was on the dance team, and throughout college I didn't realize that it was really something that I could incorporate into fitness. I kind of always had them like compartmentalized. That's a hobby, but that's not really something that equals fitness, because, you know, it wasn't like running on a treadmill or, you know, lifting weights or whatever. I was at the gym one time, and a good friend of mine was teaching just kind of a dance class. I happened to walk by and look in the studio, and I saw people dancing and having like a great time, and I was like, what is this? You know, this looks so fun. And I always kind of thought Zumba was kind of like, you know, kind of for older people, like not really something that I would enjoy. And it turns out like I was totally wrong. And so I started going to her class, and it just kind of changed my life. And it was a friend of mine was teaching Zumba. She moved away a few years later, and I just decided, like, why don't I teach it? You know, I'm good at it. I like it. It's really enjoyable. I got certified, and I just started teaching at Define Fitness probably about 8 years ago, and then COVID happened, and then I started here at Choose. Group fitness classes for me have been everything, and that's kind of where I get the majority of my fitness, and volleyball, because volleyball, again, is something I enjoy. You know, the older I get, the less and less I've been playing. It's another hobby of mine that I hope to never let go, and it's also great cardio. You know, I do come to the gym and do other classes to help build strength, because I realize like my dance class is just mainly cardio, and I try to come work out once in a while, but I just can't seem to keep that like going. So classes is just where I thrive. I like somebody to tell me what to do, give me instruction. I'm not real good at coming on my own and like working out like on the floor. It's just not my thing. I don't feel comfortable. I don't really know what I'm doing. It's intimidating. You know, there's usually like really fit people everywhere, and it's just something I'm not comfortable with. And so if I'm not comfortable with it, I'm not gonna do it. I'm usually not good at New Year's resolutions, and so I try to make stuff that's maintainable, you know, and so I know where my weaknesses are. I've tried to do the big diets and really change my eating habits, and I always fail. So I love sugar. Sugar is something that I overindulge in, and I know that, so I'm trying to cut it out, not completely, because I know that's not realistic for me. So I'm trying to make little changes here and there with my diet, eat a little bit more vegetables, but still something that isn't so drastic that I'm gonna fail. When it comes to working out, group fitness classes are kind of everything to me, so I've just kind of gone through my schedules and seen where I can fit classes in, where I can do stuff, and just be more accountable to myself. You know, don't make up excuses, you gotta show up. And also drinking more water. I do not drink enough water. So I'm also trying to, you know, just fill up a giant thing in the morning and get through it by the end of the day. So far, that's probably been my biggest struggle, is drinking water. It doesn't seem that hard, but it actually really is when you're not used to drinking like large amounts of water. And I know it's really important.
I love all those answers, and a lot of people I think struggle with the same things. The water is a big one. So there's a lot of different ways you could be healthy, get in shape, get exercise, get activity in. So with that said, thank you very much, Victoria.
You're welcome.
It was a pleasure to have you on.
Absolutely.
And that's going to be all for this one. Take care. Peace out.